I hate AI. In the history of our world, there is no technology that has been so corrupting and destructive. In the history of our world, there has been very few technologies that have been so corruptive and destructive. AI today threatens to destroy us morally, socially, economically, and environmentally. And what is so perplexing about this is the fact that so many are so willing to sacrifice everything for a technology that nobody really wants.
Am I really gonna defile this grave for money? Of course I am!
Outside of course, the rich and the powerful. And so today I want to talk about why I hate this technology so much, as well as why I think you should hate it too. And of course, with my channel being a primarily art and animation focused channel, that is where we're going to start. Now, on this topic, a lot has already been said. Many people out there today already know that the best AI models today have been trained on stolen data. This data consists of art stolen from across the entirety of the internet. In order to train AI models, companies stole massive amounts of art from artists all across the world. They neither asked permission nor compensated any artist for their work. And now today we live in this world where the AI models most people use are only able to do the things they do from stolen data. And this is maddening because it has had a massive adverse effect on the art community. Artists, animators, everybody online today working in the art community now finds it harder to find stable employment, as employers and companies now flock to AI models that can produce the sorts of work they want for free. Some try to defend their actions, whilst others do not, embracing AI slop as a way to further their business, which in some ways is actually less insulting than those people actually trying to defend their actions. These people actually stupidly try to proclaim that these AI art pieces are valid art, when of course they are not. They are instead mass-manufactured products put out by a machine. Unthinking, unfeeling machines that do not have any understanding of art. Instead, these machines rely on their already established algorithms and stolen data to put together art pieces by simply mashing massive amounts of different pieces together. There is no soul and no thought put into anything generated by an AI. Instead, it is just the most simple and most mass-manufacturable product that can be spat out by a machine. Another large argument that I've often seen put out by defenders of AI art is often just that AI is a new form of technology that should be embraced just like any other. These people try to frame the invention of the printing press, the computer, and digital animation and art software as being the same sort of thing that you can link to AI, when of course, they are not. A computer and Clip Studio Paint are very different from AI. Clip Studio Paint and digital art, for example, are focused on art. Computers and AI are not. A computer is something that allows you to engage with the digital world however you wish. It is a device that you can comfortably say is the closest to being able to do anything. AI is not. AI today is focused on and intended to reduce human work. Even with just the briefest little investigation, you can find various different articles and reports all across the internet and the world showing just how much AI is of an actual threat to human work. And that work is not just specific to the animation and art community. Various different communities and industries all across the world are threatened by AI. Administrative industries, creative industries, retail industries, all of these and more are threatened by the existence of AI. And this isn't just me whining, this is me actually stating a fact. Because of course, if you actually take a brief moment to actually look online, you will find various different articles talking about how various different workers in various different fields have already been replaced by AI systems. Hardworking people in our world today are already losing their jobs to these thinking machines. And again, there are unfortunately people out there in the world who actually try to defend this. These people again try to fall back on their arguments saying that new technologies always lead to unemployment, and that by actually embracing these technologies, we can actually provide new employment opportunities. However, this is a lie. Whilst it is true that in the past, the adoption of some technologies has led to newer jobs in newer fields, this is not true for AI. The invention and the adoption of the automobile is something that led to the end of the use of the horse and carriage. It is something that also led to the creation of various different plants and factories all across the world that hired new workers to create new automobiles, creating new jobs where in the past there were very few. However, this is not applicable to AI systems. For of course, very good reasons. AI is not just threatening the jobs of any one industry or community. AI systems threaten the jobs of various different industries and communities all across the world. And the adoption of this technology also does not create anywhere near as many jobs. This is also slightly ironic, as many of the programmers who actually helped to create these AI systems are now losing their jobs to AI systems. And this honestly should give you a good idea of just how little is actually being created from the adoption of this technology. The most you could actually argue for this technology actually creating new jobs are those jobs being created by the people who will build data centers. However, that comes with its own problems. AI today is already corrupting the world both artistically and economically. However, beyond just corrupting our arts and taking our jobs, AI is also doing much more to destroy us. For of course, to actually rely on this technology, we must first build out the infrastructure needed to support it. And of course, as I'm sure many people will already know, this requires a massive number of data centers. These hulking monoliths of technological despair must be built all across the world, and they must be built to a massive size needed to actually accommodate this technology. And this requires destroying our world and its environment. Kyle Hill already has a great video talking about the massive adverse effect these data centers will have on our planet. And so I will leave his video linked at the end of mine. So please, if you're interested, go check that video out. These data centers will require massive amounts of land, flat, empty land all across the world, which will naturally lead to the destruction of many natural environments. Environmental destruction and habitat loss is already the leading cause of extinction amongst endangered species. And so the creation of these data centers will naturally lead to a rising number of extinction cases for already vulnerable species. And don't worry, because of course, it gets worse. These data centers will also naturally get very, very hot. These data centers will generate enough heat to warm 100,000 homes. And all of this heat will be dispersed into our atmosphere, naturally increasing the threat of climate change. And if that wasn't bad enough, these data centers will also consume enough water to support 1,000 families. Which, in our world where water is already a scarce resource for many countries, this will of course be very, very devastating. Okay, so AI is corrupting us artistically, corrupting and then taking our jobs, and also now destroying our planet and its natural environment. So, what further damage can this technology do to us? Well, I'm glad you asked, because of course this technology threatens to destabilize our entire global economy, funneling billions into the pockets of a very few select number of people all across the world. So of course naturally the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer. However, that's not the end of it, because this technology also threatens to destabilize our world politically. Massive amounts of lies and misinformation is naturally generated very quickly by this technology, and this is already having a massive adverse effect on our world today. People all across the world today, in trying to engage with the politics of their country, are already seeing this, as every time they log on or switch on the news, they are constantly having to filter out massive amounts of misinformation, much of it generated very easily through the use of AI. Of course, many politicians, news agencies, and law enforcement authorities do try to filter out this misinformation and crack down on those producing it. However, unfortunately, there are just as many people willing to rely on this technology. Politicians, scammers, and con men are all too willing to use this technology to their advantage. And of course, there are already various different articles and reports out there stating how various different elections all across the world have been affected by AI. Voting today is no longer as simple as just reading a manifesto and voting for a party you like. Instead, voters today now have to contend with a massive amount of misinformation spat out by AI manufacturers willing to support anyone who will pay to support them. Okay, so AI today is corrupting us artistically, taking our jobs, destroying our planet's natural environments, corrupting our politics, and reducing our ability to trust one another. It is poisoning us and our world environmentally, socially, and personally. This technology now threatens to corrupt and destroy us. All because we are, of course, too immature and not yet ready to actually use this technology wisely. It doesn't have to be this way, because of course, there are actually various different uses for AI technology out there in the world that could be beneficial. In terms of the medical industry, AI technology could have an extremely beneficial impact on that industry and the people it's working to save. Much has already been said in various different articles saying just how much this technology has really benefited that industry and really helped doctors and nurses to save the lives of severely injured and sick patients. Within that industry, AI technology has been proven to have a beneficial effect. However, the problem remains that as a species, I believe we are far too immature to actually use this technology wisely. AI technology today is not being relied upon to save lives. Instead, it is simply being relied upon to cut down on as much human work as possible in order to transfer as much money as possible to those who are already so rich. And I truly believe that nothing will change within that AI technology industry unless something changes structurally within the governance of our countries all across the world. New laws and regulations are desperately needed to control and check this technology. And yeah, personally, I believe our world is moving too slowly to put in the checks and regulations needed to control this technology. AI technology today is already threatening to destroy us. And honestly, I truly hope that something changes soon to control, check, and regulate this technology as soon as possible. Okay, so this has been a little bit of a downer video. I know it's not a subject I usually talk about, but still, it is something that, honestly, I've been feeling like I've needed to talk about for a while now. And yeah, I don't like AI technology. For a multitude of reasons, and some of them I haven't even brought up here. And yeah, like I said, I'm going to leave a link to Kyle Hill's video at the end of mine, so please, if you want more reasons to hate AI, go and check out that video. That or, just switch on the news or open Twitter, I'm sure you'll see something. And yeah, hopefully next week we can get back to the happier videos. Anyway, thank you all for watching, everybody. Please don't forget to do all the usual YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, and comment. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.